By all accounts, Nick Candy has had a very exciting fortnight. One day he was in the High Court accusing a tech entrepreneur of fraud, and a few days later he was triumphantly handing £1 million over to Reform UK. The juxtaposition is almost theatrical. A man suing to recover millions he says were stolen, while casually donating £1 million more to the most insurgent political party in Britain. For Candy, this week seems to be about vindication. The property tycoon who built One Hyde Park, that gleaming temple of glass and wealth overlooking Hyde Park Corner, is now the financial muscle behind Nigel Farage's Reform UK. He says he's done what he promised. He's given over £1 million and more will follow. And his pledge, he says, was always real, though some in the party doubted him. All talk and no trousers, they whispered. Well, not anymore. To Candy, this isn't philanthropy, it's patriotism. He describes it as an investment in UK PLC, the rescue of a nation he believes is driving its own wealth offshore. His friends, he laments, are fleeing to Monaco, Milan and Dubai. The rich are leaving Britain, he warns, because the country punishes success and despises its own prosperity, and he's probably right in that. This is the worldview of the global elite who paradoxically want to save Britain from the political class, while ensuring their yachts still have somewhere British to dock. And what a cast of characters populate Candy's orbit. Nigel Farage, Elon Musk, Boris Johnson, Tony Blair. Candy speaks of them like a man listing old school friends. Blair, he says, felt the heartbeat of the nation in 1997. Farage feels it now. Boris, he adds, was hard done by. That curious trinity, Blair, Boris, Nigel, neatly captures the odd political cocktail that Candy has mixed for himself: nostalgia for charisma, outrage at the establishment, and deep pockets to finance both. Candy's confidence borders on the messianic. He says he will raise between 25 million and 40 million for reform by the next election, with a target of 10 million before May. He even hints at recruiting the next generation of Tory donors, the sons and daughters of Bamford and Berkeley, the reformistas, as he calls them. The Tories may have lost their youth vote and their moral purpose. Now they risk losing their money too. Well, who is it now? Kinnock, I think yesterday, was giving an interview saying how important it is that the Conservative Party survives for the benefit of politics in the UK. And I thought that was telling and significant, and I agree with him entirely. It doesn't matter whether you support the Conservatives or you don't. There needs to be that balance in an adversarial system. But Candy's sudden generosity coincides with headlines of a rather different kind. His company, Candy Ventures, is suing the Dutch businessman Robert Bonnier, claiming he was duped into investing $6.5 million in a failed social media startup called Aqua. And the alleged fraud involved promises that Apple and LVMH were ready to invest in $1 billion. They weren't. Candy told the court he felt stupid for believing the lies. He called the deception disgraceful. And the Financial Times has since reported that Candy Ventures itself lost more than £1 million since 2014 across a series of failed startups: Blipper, Crowdmix, Ralph and Russo, and now Aqua. It's a pattern of glamorous ideas collapsing into insolvency, yet somehow Candy always lands on his feet, still afloat, still confident, still rich enough to write cheques for £1 million to a political party. And that paradox is part of the Candy brand. Dazzling failure wrapped in the glitter of success, and even his personal life mirrors that duality. He recently separated from Holly Valance, the actress and pop star who introduced him to the world of celebrity glamour. He still owns a £175 million penthouse, though it comes with an £80 million mortgage. And his fortune, like his politics, is opaque, part inheritance, part invention, part myth. And that brings us to the politics. Reform UK has been searching for credibility, for structure, for money, and with Candy it has all three, or at least the appearance of them. He gives Farage a veneer of serious business respectability, just as Farage gives Candy the thrill of rebellion. Both men despise the establishment that made them possible. Both present themselves as insurgents railing against a system they've spent their lives mastering. And whether Candy's millions will transform Reform UK is uncertain. Money alone doesn't buy a political movement, as many a failed tycoon-turned-donor has discovered, but the symbolism matters. When a man whose change is counted in millions, chooses Nigel Farage over Rishi Sunak or Keir Starmer, it signals something profound about the shifting loyalties of Britain's wealthy. And note, I don't even mention Kemi Badenoch. Candy has said the Tories should be put into administration. Well, perhaps in his mind, Farage is the administrator, stripping the old party for parts, refinancing the right, and preparing British for a populist reboot. I think he's wrong, but it's heady stuff, isn't it? Courtrooms, billionaires, yachts, and political pledges all swirling into one glossy narrative. Yet beneath the surface one wonders whether Candy's story is less about conviction and more about projection. A man who keeps losing money trying to buy back relevance, and a party that keeps losing elections trying to buy credibility. One of the problems, I think, with Rishi Sunak, and excuse me for mentioning him, is the news yesterday of him getting involved with Microsoft. And you think, this is the man who was particularly concerned about the future of AI and the ethics of AI, and there he is, throwing in his lot with the big computing giant. And it doesn't matter whether he's giving the money to charity because he doesn't need it. What matters is the image that he projects and the image that he fosters and the example that he gives to others. And the example Rishi Sunak seems to give is a wasted opportunity. I don't know about Nick Candy. He seems to me to be small fry. But in the end, his multi-million-pound donation may say less about Reform UK's future and more about the strange new class of men funding British politics, rich, restless and perpetually convinced that salvation can be purchased if only the cheque is large enough. Well, it's not just money, is it? Sometimes it's about conviction and about hard work and about commitment and about doing something.